Hey food lovers, you're watching Food Heaven Made Easy with Wendy and Jess.
And today we're going to be talking about what foods can boost your mood. So what foods are going to get you in a happier kind of mood.
And it's really important that we do this show because studies say that in the winter months we have a higher rate of depression, so we thought it was perfect timing to do our Food and Mood special. The number one thing you want to consider when it comes to how food affects our mood is our blood glucose. Now, blood glucose is basically the sugar from the food we eat when it enters our blood. And we use this blood glucose for energy throughout the day, but we want to make sure that we keep a stable amount of energy in our blood that we actually are going to use. So how do we, get this stable energy in our blood? Well, we have to make sure to eat things like complex carbohydrates. Some examples of that are fruits, even these oats here, like oatmeal, especially steel cut oats, this brown rice here, quinoa, sweet potato, those are all complex carbs. Now, in addition to complex carbs, we want to balance that out with our lean proteins. So lean proteins would be things like egg whites, tofu that we have here, even here we have black beans and chickpeas. Those are all lean proteins in addition to chicken and fish. So what's an example of breakfast that wouldn't be something that's ideal for our blood sugar? Well, something like a muffin or a croissant or even a white bagel with some coffee. That's going to make our sugar go up, so we may get a little bit of energy, but then it's going to crash after that and it's going to affect our mood. So we want to make sure that we have things like, for example, one breakfast I've been having recently is this multigrain waffle topped with some natural peanut butter and then drizzled with a little bit of honey and with an apple on the side. And that's going to give me a stable amount of blood sugar for the next few hours. The other thing that you want to consider is the timing of your meals. You don't want to skip meals. You want to have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then also a couple snacks. Or you can have 6 small meals throughout the day, and that's going to keep your sugars even as well. And the idea is you don't want to go more than like 3 or 4 hours without eating because it really will affect you. So that's basically how sugars affect our mood.
I'm going to be talking about serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter. Basically means it's a chemical released from your brain that will trigger feelings of happiness and bliss, all of the things that you definitely want. It also regulates your mood. And tryptophan is an amino acid, and we get our amino acids from our proteins. Proteins break down into amino acids. Why is this important? Because amino acids, specifically tryptophan, are needed to produce serotonin. So what foods have tryptophan? Here we have some tofu, which has protein. It'll break down into tryptophan. Also black beans, tuna, different types of fish. You can have asparagus, basil, oregano, spinach. These are all foods that you can eat that will help your body break them down, produce the tryptophan, hence increase the serotonin. Now, the issue with getting the tryptophan that you need to produce the serotonin is that when you eat a protein-rich meal, there's other amino acids that are also involved that will compete to enter your brain. And so basically it'll decrease the amount of tryptophan that's going to be absorbed by your brain. What can you do about this? You can eat your proteins with complex carbohydrates. For example, we have squash here, whole grains, here's some oatmeal, potatoes, different complex carbohydrates. These complex carbs will help produce insulin in your body, which is a hormone that basically will boost your tryptophan absorption. It'll make it go right into your brain, and the other amino acids will be absorbed by other parts of the body.
So the last thing we're going to talk about when it comes to how food affects our mood is selenium. Selenium is an essential trace mineral that is found naturally in soil. And we need selenium in our diets, and some research suggests that people who have a deficiency in selenium also have higher rates of depression, anxiety, and fatigue. So we definitely don't want that, and we want to make sure we have a selenium-rich diet. Now, most people in the US, they're not having selenium deficiencies, but people who are vegetarian, who don't eat meat, they have a higher risk of deficiency because it is found in a lot of meat products. If you are vegetarian, you just want to make sure you're getting your selenium in your diet, and some sources include Brazil nuts, your whole grains, like here we have oatmeal, and we have brown rice, barley is another good source, and sunflower seeds. So make sure you're getting those foods and you're pretty much covering your bases with selenium. It's recap time! So I had started off by saying we want to make our blood glucose stable throughout the day by having a mixture of complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and lean protein, and also not going more than 3 hours a day without eating.
And I spoke about serotonin, which helps you feel happy, and how you should eat foods that are rich in tryptophan because it'll boost your serotonin absorption. And make sure you eat these foods with complex carbs because that also helps boost tryptophan absorption.
And then I ended by saying we want to make sure we get selenium in our diets because it helps us not feel as depressed. And we can get that from things like Brazil nuts, whole grains like oatmeal, brown rice, sunflower seeds, barley, fish, chicken, and other meats. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out our website, foodheavenmadeeasy.com, for more shows, recipe updates, and nutrition goodness. And until next time, bye!